the expectations for the 49ers when it comes to being a contender. I mean, on Tuesday, I know the Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker said that the 49ers are the second best team in the NFL right now behind the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think it was even Stephen A. Smith on First Take that had the 49ers as the second best team in the NFL. When we're talking about power rankings, the 49ers are involved in your top five, however way that you slice it, with a third string quarterback. But Deebo Samuel is a huge part of that to me. And if they want to reach that potential, that's where that has to go. And I think the next logical question for the conversation is, well, does it become Super Bowl or bust for the 49ers? If they are contenders, if they are favorites to some to be the second best team in the NFC and potentially be a better overall roster than any team in the AFC right now. Like, where are you at, Mark, I guess, when it comes to the 49ers? To me, I would say, as I kind of have the entire season, even through the ups and downs of the quarterback position, look, make the playoffs. And once you make the playoffs, I would expect potentially a win, but I also don't think that, to me, it's necessarily a lost season if you go into the playoffs and take an L to one of the other NFC teams that I think are pretty good.
This is a tough question because the Niners have as much talent as any roster in the NFL. But you also have your third string quarterback. At least when you started the season, your third string quarterback, as your starter now. And he is not just a rookie, but a 7th round pick rookie. So is it fair to say the 49ers are kind of in Super Bowl or bust mode this season? And this is more of a question, I think, from the outside. This is not how teams internally think. So I would say from the perspective of Brock Purdy, it is absolutely unfair. But when you take the roster in totality and how well they're playing right now and what the rest of the NFC looks like, this Niner team will be favored against anyone in the NFC on any field not named the Philadelphia Eagles. When you consider the totality of the roster, how the NFL season is playing out in front of us right now, I think there will be a lot of Niner fans who will be upset and disappointed if this team falls short of winning it all. And I know that's crazy talk coming from a team that is starting a 7th round rookie as their quarterback, but that is how talented the rest of this roster is and how open the NFC is for the taking.
Yeah, I do think that my expectation for this team has maybe risen, especially over the last week with Brock Purdy. Before, I thought their Super Bowl chances left with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think they've returned, but I would fall just short just because of the lack of experience. And who knows, maybe Brock Purdy is this wonder kid that can go into the playoffs and play exactly the way that he has against two pretty decent opponents. Like, I think Miami, as we saw last week, is starting to fade. They also have a very tough schedule. I wouldn't be surprised to see them potentially miss the playoffs overall with how good the AFC is. Tampa Bay, I don't know about you, Mark. I wasn't really impressed with them, but part of that is because of how good the Niners looked. Look, for me, I cannot place those types of hopes on Brock Purdy. Like, I'm coming at this from a perspective of I want to enjoy this season as much as I can because of how unique it's been, maybe more unique than any other team that has walked through this 2022 season, and everything that they have gone through starting in the offseason through this season with the hypotheticals of what's going to happen next season. To me, when it comes to Brock Purdy and this 49ers team, I do want to live in the moment, but also understand that a Super Bowl or bust means that anything short is going to be a disappointment. And to me, I can't be disappointed with where this season has gone, considering everything that they have been through. And I don't know, I'm sure the team would be disappointed. Obviously, you have a chance each and every year with, a roster like they do to win a Super Bowl. But I also think that, look, I just can't expect Brock Purdy to do everything that so far it looks like he can and not expect that train to eventually come to a screeching stop.
Yeah, it's It's a difficult situation to be in because you're asking a young quarterback in Brock Purdy to do so much more than any other rookie quarterback has done in NFL history, right? I mean, there's no rookie quarterback as the starter has won a Super Bowl. So you're asking literally for NFL history to be made.
Which would be
Um,
great. That'd be fantastic. That'd be really cool.
it would be. It would be incredible. It would, go beyond belief in some respects. But then when you look at what the rest of this team is, and we're going to talk about the game against the Seahawks coming up, and keys to the game and position battles, and how this Niner defense can limit kind of a new look Seattle offense from when they played them last. When you consider how good the Niners defense is, and we just talked about Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and all the other weapons, there is kind of a sense, yes, Brock Purdy has his hands full. Absolutely. This is going to be an incredibly tall task for him to not just win a Super Bowl, but to get through postseason football without much experience, right? I mean, most of the other rookie quarterbacks who played postseason football had been starters, their entire first season leading up to that playoff run. Brock Purdy doesn't have that ability. He's kind of going into it blind almost with these last 5 games as, presumably his first 5 starts of his career. But then you also consider the rest of the roster, and you have to imagine there has never been an easier job for a third string quarterback in NFL history. There has never been a team as complete, as perfectly built, as constructed as good as this team is constructed for a third string quarterback than this one. It's still a challenge, a gigantic challenge at that. But Evan, I'm not so sure that there has ever been a third string quarterback who is as, I don't know, well equipped because of who he has around him to do the job potentially than you have right now with Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers. Because you consider the weapons they have on offense. You consider how good their defense is. You consider the fact that they're going to get at least one home playoff game, and they'll probably be favored in a second playoff game if they get that far. It's a challenge, of course, but it's not nearly as challenging as it is for other third string quarterbacks, other rookie quarterbacks, because of how good the team is around them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you said this is the best situation for a third string quarterback in the history of the NFL, I would be hard pressed to find an example just because of how few there are.
Exactly.
But I think your greater point is one that I am kind of going back and forth on. And the theory that I have about this 49ers run, however far they go, to me will be more of a test of styles, and a style that has kind of been done away with in recent NFL years. The NFL has become a pass-first league that has been largely dependent on a dynamic quarterback that can beat you through the air, can extend plays, and or beat you with their legs, some combination of both. That's what every head coach, play caller is clamoring for, that type of quarterback. And that's the quarterback that is going to be the reason why you get over the top. To me, this San Francisco 49ers team, if they can, as we've laid out, basically do the impossible, win the Super Bowl, or to me even get to the Super Bowl would be unbelievable. It will turn back the clocks because this team is predicated on a dominant defense. It is predicated on a ground and pound running game, and one that is meant to wear you down and lean on you as an opponent. And so if the 49ers, Brock Purdy aside, can use that equation, the 2 largest factors in their success this season and across this 6-game winning streak, if they can use that to run to a Super Bowl, literally, to me, I think that does signify that whether it be Kyle Shanahan's, sort of strategy on how to win football games, or just an overall old school, hardcore, smash mouth type of game that we saw dominate the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even parts of the 2000s, it will be more impressive to me because it signifies that the game that a lot of fans fell in love with decades ago is still a way you can win in the modern game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this year is almost kind of the exception to that. Like, there's been a lot of talk from a lot of people around the NFL. I remember it specifically early in the season. I remember listening to a conversation that Michael Irvin had with Damon and Rado on 95.7 The Game, kind of the early returns on the 49ers defense. Think back to maybe after, I'm not sure which week it was. Maybe the win against the Rams after week 3 when they held the Rams to 9 points coming off after they held Seattle to just 7 points, and that was a special teams touchdown. And Michael Irvin, said kind of around the league, and he was right in this moment, offense is down. This is early returns, this being a defensive year, and that trend has kind of continued up to this point. Scoring is down, offense is down, yards, total yards are down. There's more turnovers. Defenses, by all accounts, are having a fantastic season. And that, kind of to your point, is not that's not the way that the game has been trending recently. And that's why the conversation around Super Bowl teams has been, you need an elite quarterback. Like the years of a Trent Dilfer playing, well in the in the postseason. Joe Flacco, who had a fantastic postseason, but generally not one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. There's other examples as well. Those years are gone of late. You need a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, of course, a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers. You need someone like that. This year might be the exception. Maybe it's just kind of a 1 year kind of a offshoot of the main trend. Maybe this is a signal that things are changing across the National Football League once again. But regardless of if it continues or not, the fact is that this is a defensive year in the NFL, and the Niners have the best defense in the league. So maybe this is the 1 year. Maybe the Niners got lucky in terms of timing. Maybe this is the 1 year where an elite quarterback is not needed to win it all. And the Niners could certainly take advantage because Brock Purdy, as it stands right now, of course, is not among the elite at the quarterback position. Who knows what his future holds? We'll find out about that as the years go on. But the Niners might be in position to take advantage of the in-season trend this year, which is defenses are more important than they have been in the past. Maybe an elite quarterback isn't quite as important as it has been the last decade or so. Maybe postseason football will put an end to that trend, and we'll be talking differently about that in a month or two. But right now, I would say having an elite defense is more important than it has been in years past. And maybe this is the year where you don't quite need that Hall of Fame quarterback to win it all.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out. All fantastic points.